Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dynasty Wonderland podcast. That's right, with me, your host, the Mad Chatter Ryan MK. And as you can see, if you're watching the video version, there is no captain with me today. There is no one by my side. It's a solo pod for the chatter. The captain, the salary captain, Aaron Stewart, that is, feeling a little bit under the weather. I'm going to be honest, Madcaps. Been a bit of a rough week for the fellas at the DW pod. I mean, well, let's begin. Let's begin with, I'm sure listeners noticed, no Thursday night preview / Sunday, or what would it be? Thursday night recap / Sunday preview pod. There we go. See, that's the way to start out the pod. Just all fucking up. Just tongue twisting already. That, you know what that means? That we're gonna take another puff real quick. Okay, we're good. We're good now. So as you noticed, no Thursday recap, Sunday preview pod this week. We didn't even mention it. I meant to get on here's the thing. As you all know, I had a bit of a knee issue that began last Sunday, a week ago. Okay. And well, I guess by the time everybody listens, it'll be Monday. So, a week and a day ago, 8 days ago, the knee issue, which obviously lingered throughout the week. And, I was finally going to get back to work on Thursday because my Monday is a Wednesday, and I missed Wednesday, extra day to rest for the knee. I was going to go back to work Thursday, and guess what? Car broke down. And if you're interested in the details of this fucking story and how much I want to shit on Big O tires, well, make sure to tune into my other podcast, the Miscellaneous Debris podcast. It's a non-sports podcast, but I'm going to be ranting a little bit on my, let's just say, we'll call it experience with my vehicle and Big O tires. And so Aaron was already going to have a work thing Thursday and was going to potentially not be able to pod. So it was going to potentially be down to me to pod Thursday anyway. And then I'm having the car issue. So we say, okay, maybe one of us will get something out Friday or Saturday, late Friday, sometimes Saturday. But again, busy is just a lot going on, Aaron and myself. And then we get to Sunday, Aaron's feeling under the weather, and he was going to try and go anyway. But then you get the delay with the Sunday night game. My man just couldn't. Gave him the night off. Well, I didn't give him the night off. It's not like I'm the boss. This is a partnership. And dude took the night off. I said, don't worry. I got this shit handled. I am going to run. And we're going to do it a little bit differently since it's just me solo. I'm just going to basically run through the games, bullshit about them, chat some fantasy. Now there's going to be some games I'm only going to say a quick thing or two about. So we'll get through this as quick as we can, but I'm not going to worry about off with their heads. I might mention a few names throughout as we're discussing games. I'm not really going to, or the Mad Five. That's something where we bounce back and forth, Aaron and I. So riding solo, we're just going to run through the games. So glad we got that. I apologize, Madcaps, on behalf of Aaron and myself that, A, we didn't get you guys a proper Thursday, well, it would have been a Friday pod for y'all, and that we didn't even say anything. And because at this point, it was too late to say by the time I realized, because I was going to put on Twitter, like, the captain has a work thing and the chatter lost his damn mind. We'll be back Sunday. But I didn't even do that. So apologies. I suck this week. Having a hard time handling my own adversity this week. So again, I'll rant plenty more about it on my other pod if you want to check it out. But other than that, that's how we're going to end it. Aaron, feel better, my friend, and hopefully you're back with us for the Monday night recap pod. But if not, that's okay too. We ride solo because I do the other pod solo. So I am comfortable riding in the solo chair, as much as I'm going to miss my guy, my captain. I mean, that's my partner. That's my dude. It's going to be weird having him not by my side. Probably even more weird for the listeners, but that's okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. And Mad Caps, if you decide to skip this pod because it is just me, no offense taken. None at all. None at all. Chatter's riding solo. And if the chat is just not enough, if you need the captain in your DW pod, I don't blame you for skipping this one, but we're going to have fun if you stick around. So let's go. We should begin. Since there was no Thursday night pod, let's say a little quick something about the Thursday night game. Really, big takeaway. Russ talked a lot about how I wanted that MVP season for this man. And it's just not appearing so. And it's not that he's played bad. He's actually played well. The offense overall just hasn't been, spectacular. And the defense is maybe one of the worst ever. And so it's just a bummer. And, some of those off-season rumors, Russ moving on, could start to heat up again here, at some point. And maybe not. Maybe it doesn't happen until later in the season. But that's something that's got to be going on in Russ's mind is I've never missed a damn game. Like, this team is garbage. Pete's got no defense. Like, it's just they got no run game. Alex, Colin. So they're just in a position where it's all on Russ. And now Russ is hurt. And not that it hasn't all been on Russ, but at least I just feel bad for the dude. Hopefully, they can let him go and find a new team. And it makes sense. They're just not a very good team. They're not. They're not right now. And even worse so with no Russell Wilson, who's going to be out some weeks with the messed up finger. So, excuse me. So, and my only other takeaway from that, although I will say, backpedaling a little bit, Geno Smith looked pretty good in that game. So if you want to think fantasy-wise, even with Russ out, I think you can still play your DK Metcalf, your Tyler Lockett. I think you just got to, lower them expectations a little bit. But I think they're still playable. So on the other side, you have the Rams. They continue their season, had the little blip on the radar last week, but they got beat by a very, very good Cardinals team. And the biggest takeaway for me with this is, Robert Woods did a little talking this week. I think he was a little upset. He wasn't getting the ball more. Understandable. So they made sure to get him involved. 14 targets, 12 receptions, 150 yards. So, if you were waiting on a Robert Woods game, there you go. And Cooper Kupp still did fine. 7 for 92. Higbee got the touchdown. The running backs each got a touchdown. So Rams playing well. Woods getting involved. And I'm sure, they're going to make it a point to, make this a little bit more split, because it was going very heavy, Cooper Kupp, which is fine if it's working. But I think not just for their team, but, for all us fantasy heads out here, let's get Woods involved too. It makes more sense. Look how dangerous Minnesota is because they get Thielen and Jefferson, if you're just going to every third down, if everybody knows you're going to throw it to Cooper Kupp, change it up. So good to see Woods involved and, Rams continue on. So get that Thursday night game out of the way. Obviously, I can't preview the Sunday games. They already happened. So apologies, you didn't get any of that this week. I don't know how good we would have been because this was kind of a crazy week, to be honest. But we're going to get into it right now. The Sunday night game. The reason I'm recording this in the wee hours of the morning is because there's a delay, right? A weather delay at halftime. So the halftime felt like forever. And everybody was just waiting to see, okay, the Chiefs are going to make this comeback, right? Because I know that's what I was thinking. Waiting for this delay to get over. See the Chiefs make this motherfucking comeback, right? Or at least make a game of it. No. Whew. The Buffalo Bills stampeded all over the fucking Chiefs. Stampeded them into the ground. It was, oh man. Patrick Mahomes, 33 for 54. 2 interceptions. Whew, rough game for Patty. Rough game for Patty. The Chiefs' leading receiver, Mecole Hardman. Probably Hardman truthers. There you go. 9 for 76. And Mahomes was even the leading rusher. Like Daryl the Barrel. Daryl Williams looked all right. 5 for 27. But yeah, not a lot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he got banged up before that. 7 for 13. Like, this is just, they just got rocked. They got rocked. And for the Bills, they did their thing, man. Josh Allen, 15 yards, 3 TDs, and then he had 59 yards and another TD on the ground. Hell yeah. Josh Allen just rolling it. And Dawson Knox seems to be one of his current favorite targets. 4 targets, 3 receptions for 117 yards and a touchdown. I like Knox a little bit last year. And here's the thing this year, I just figured, they got Diggs. They got anti-science asshole Cole Beasley. Sorry. They got Dawson Knox. Or Manny Sanders, right? They added Manny Sanders. And I'm just sitting here, and Gabe, they got some dudes. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, Dawson Knox is probably fucked. But he's having a year, man. He's having, mans and womans. He's having a year, and it's good to fucking see. So, Dawson Knox, I hope you continue to roll, my man. 3 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. Just beautiful to see. So there was a little concern about Buffalo, and people question Denver and Carolina because of their schedule and who they played and being undefeated. And I think you had to look at who the Bills played a little bit too, and but hey, good teams, the best teams, beat the shit out of the teams they're supposed to beat, right? And that's what the Bills did. And then they came in here and put a fucking hammer on the Chiefs. So they stampeded them, as I said. Stampede. They just rocked them. That's crazy. I'm gonna admit I did not expect that. But I don't think you can have any more questions. I mean, yes, the Chiefs' defense is shit, but I think that's, what people wondered about Josh Allen and this Bills team was what they were going to do on the road against a great team, in a high-profile matchup. And they kicked ass. So, leading receiver, Dawson Knox. That's right. It's good to see. Good to see. So let's move on to the rest of the games. And there were some good games. The Browns and the Chargers. Now that was a fun one, right? Now, football-wise, that was just a blast to watch. And I got to say, what the hell were the Browns doing up 42-41, not putting the fucking foot on the gas pedal? What the hell? That's a stupid conclusion. Anyway, why the hell did they do that? You're just trying to protect a 1 point. You guys have been going back and forth. You all of a sudden your defense was going to stop the Chargers. Just right there, all of a sudden your defense was going to be able to stop Herbert and the Chargers from going down the field. All of a sudden, right there, with that 1 point lead. Stefanski, what the fuck? I don't get it. You needed aggression there. Do not let those fuckers get the ball back. No, I didn't understand that at all. And David Njoku for the Browns had a big game. 7 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 161 yards and a touchdown. That's a great game. And, the whole Nick Chubb thing is a little curious because Kareem Hunt's been having some bigger games. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago when he was hunting the Bears. Like, Kareem Hunt's killing it. And, Nick Chubb went a lot higher. And everybody loves Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb. He's fucking amazing. But it is true, Hunt just gets a lot of the passing work. And even though Chubb can do it, you know, it's more of a Kareem Hunt thing. So that does take away it, it lowers that ceiling for Chubb, and that sucks. It sucks. But I love him. Love the dude. And Hunt's kicking ass in Njoku. But I think that's the thing with the Browns is, you can count on the running backs each week. They're not generally going to have bad days. But at receiver, Odell Beckham, 2 for 20. Donovan Peoples-Jones got involved this week, 5 for 70. So it's just kind of, they're gonna spread it around and do different things, and so you just can't really count on anybody in that pass game. I don't think. At least for now. And then on the Chargers side, they keep killing it. Mike Williams, Keenan, all your normal guys. Parham, the tight end, got another touchdown this week. But Mike Williams destroyed. Justin Herbert, 398 yards, 4 touchdowns, mainly targeting the Mike Williams. Although I got to say this, 16 targets, only 8 receptions. Come on, Mike, you could have had a bigger game. 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keenan Allen with 6 for 75. Austin Eckler had a big day, over 100 all-purpose yards and a few touchdowns. So very good day all around for the Chargers. That's just a fantasy points factory. Also a fantasy points factory, the Dallas Cowboys. That's right. Dak Prescott continues over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, did have a pick, but Zeke continues to look good, and Pollard continues to get work next to him. Zeke, 110 yards and a touchdown. Pollard went for 75 yards and 4 catches for 28 yards. So very good there. And in the passing game, you got CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Amari Cooper. I think that's going to continue to be the trend. And nice to know we can rely on Mr. Dalton Schultz, because I was like, hey, is this going to be sustainable? But yeah, Dak's going to pass it enough. He's going to be able to support both them wide receivers and that tight end in most games. And but it could be a little bit by like with the Bucks, like maybe there could be times where there's 2 of them that have really big days and maybe one of them doesn't. But I really am starting to feel like you can trust Schultz. Now, on the other end, they beat down the New York Giants in this game, and not great. Daniel Jones hurt. Saquon Barkley hurt. Kenny Galladay hurt. The Giants, they're beat up. And we'll get into it over the week as far as infirmary, who to look at for replacements and stuff. But the only thing to be positive about this, and this is crazy because I was not big on this dude, but I did suggest him in my infirmary report as a DFS play for yesterday. And he went off to the tune of 10 catches for 189 yards. And that's Kadarius Toney. And as I mentioned, not been big on this guy coming into this year. But, man, he rocked it yesterday. So if there's something you could take away from that, I do think Toney is a viable option. But it's going to be interesting to see what comes out about the injuries to all these players, because Booker did not look particularly great in Saquon's place, I would say. So it's... He got a few catches and a touchdown, but 16 from 40. I guess he did get 2 touchdowns, so he's going to be a viable option because they don't really have anybody else there. But just an ugly situation. And just when you felt like they might get a little something going on offense, the Giants, just tough. Okay, and then another very fun game that was going on. And it was crazy because I was watching the Red Zone, and you had the witching hour, and you had the quadruple screen, and like 3 of the games came down to kicks. And the one game that really came down to kick after kick after kick, the Packers and the Bengals. And that game was insane. Just kickers just blowing game-winning field goals left and right. Apparently there was a crosswind, excuse me, that was making it rather difficult for the kickers. Either way, I don't know about kicking. Do you know about kicking? I don't know about kicking. Beats me. Either way, it was a crazy ass game. I was rooting for the Bengals a little bit just because, nice to see. But hey, Jamar Chase, 6 for 159 and a touchdown. This Bengals offense, I think they're going to continue to get better, and we're going to be able to rely on them for some fantasy points, particularly Burrow and Chase. Like great stack in DFS, I would say. But I'm really enjoying these guys lately. The Bengals just overall as a team, just football wise, it's another one of those, losing teams that just hasn't done anything in a while. And, they had a little bit of a run with Andy Dalton, but it's, nothing ever. I mean, it's not like you ever thought like, oh, the Bengals, they're fucking dangerous. This is a team that could, Burrow, Chase, mixing these boys that, building towards the future. Like this could be a very dangerous team. And so, yeah, big day from Chase. And then on the other side, of course, Aaron Rodgers is going to get his 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, and mostly to Devonta Adams, of course. 11 receptions, 206 yards, and a touchdown. And then, of course, Aaron Jones, 103 yards. That's about all he did. But yes, there you go. It was a fun game. It was a fun game. Not a fun game. Sorry. The London game. I guess it kind of got a little interesting late, but the Jets are just bad. I mean, Michael Carter made a little bit of noise in this one, I guess. He got a touchdown. But overall, there's a little Denzel Mims sighting. He had a couple of catches. Elijah Moore, nothing. It is too bad. Been waiting to see something from him, but not to be so as of yet. And really for Atlanta, it was the Kyle Pitts show. 9 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. And then Cordero Patterson right behind him, 7 for 60. But Olamide Zaccheaus, I've loved this guy since he was drafted. I've wrote about it. It was one of my very first, I've mentioned this several times, my very first article for the Roto Underworld for playerprofiler.com was not Roto Underworld, for playerprofiler.com was indeed about Olamide Zaccheaus. Olamide, I don't know. I'm not really sure how you say his first name, but Mr. Zaccheaus. And I really thought he'd be able to make some noise. I mean, I figured Kyle Pitts would go off, but who else do they have besides him and Cordell Patterson? And a lot of stuff to the tight ends, Hurst, Lee Smith, even Tajay Sharp. I haven't heard his name in a while, got a little bit involved. So I think it's about time to just give up on Mr. Old Zaccheaus. I don't think him's going to be coming a thing. Yeah. And moving on. Also not becoming a thing, the Dolphins. They're just off with their heads. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, Myles Gaskin, just shy of he had 25 yards rushing. Okay. 10 catches for 74 yards. He was 1 yard shy of 100 all-purpose yards. Just one. But he did get 2 receiving touchdowns. So Myles Gaskin had a nice day. But other than that, Jesus, man, I don't even know. I really don't. It's a rough go for the Dolphins right now. I don't know what to tell you. How comfortable do you feel playing any Dolphins right now? Can't feel great. The Bucs, on the other hand, you got to feel good about playing them boys, right? Antonio Brown gets a couple of touchdowns. Mike Evans, this is one that was this game, it was AB and Mr. Evans who went off, both over 100, both 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin still 7 for 70, but he'll get his time as well. And they had no Gronk in this game. Doesn't matter. Bucks are rolling at the moment. And at least for one game, the Titans were rolling against the shitty Jaguars, who, all the Urban Meyer stuff and things like that. You kind of figured like, I mean, those players are still going to want to play for themselves. They still got pride and they still got to do their job. They still got a career to worry about. But man, that's tough when there's so much noise around your organization because your head coach is a fucking idiot. I don't know. I feel bad for him in a way, but got to do what you got to do. Got to still go out there and play the game. And even with no Julio Jones, the Titans rolled it because it was just another Derrick Henry. I have no idea how long Derrick Henry is going to be. Like, this dude's got to be toast by the end of the year, right? Right? Am I wrong? I mean, this is just, he can't keep rolling like that. I would think. I mean, I don't know. I love me some Derrick Henry, some King Henry, and he continues to roll. But I'm just like, it feels like it's always later in the year when he really gets going. And it feels like he's really getting going now at the beginning of the year to kind of make up for some of their other deficiencies. And I just feel like Henry might not look as good towards the end of the year, but we'll see. If anybody can, just keep doing his thing, is that dude, because he's a crazy beast. Not a lot in the receiving game, though. I mean, Tannehill didn't even hit 200 yards. And A.J. Brown, 3 for 38. So glad he was back. But, it's not a lot. They didn't really need it. To be honest. And then on the Jaguars side, I mean, James Robinson continues to get work, 149 yards and a touchdown. And Dan Arnold is actually the leading receiver with 64 yards. Laviska Shenault, keep waiting for some big games from him, especially with the opportunity there. But this game, 3 targets, 1 reception, 58 yards. Dan Arnold had 8 targets. You know who else had 8 targets? Jamal Agnew? Tavon Austin with 5 targets. These fucking guys are getting more targets than Laviska Shenault. What the fuck is going on? I don't know. I don't even know what to say about the Jaguars. I also don't know what to say about the Saints or the Washington football team, or as we call them lovingly around here, the Washington Foreskins. I don't know really what to make of like the Saints. Hey, here we go. Now we're back to Jameis, 4 touchdowns. I also had an interception and a fumble. Like, it was a Jameis game, right? We got a Jameis game. And Marcus Callaway, good to see you with a couple of touchdowns, 85 yards, two TDs. Kamara, 71 yards and a touchdown. So Saints have a solid game, but it's just that team is just weird. I don't know what to expect or what to trust on a weekly basis. And I know people are excited because Michael Thomas will be coming back. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised I don't know. If he comes back and helps them start winning, we'll see. But I still feel like the idea of a Michael Thomas trade is still on the table. Didn't seem like they were on real good terms, but we'll see how that goes for Washington. Gibson, a couple of touchdowns. Other than that, blah. Not much from T-Mac this week. And then on my infirmary report, I was like, who are you going to target? With Logan Thomas out, I didn't even think to mention Ricky Seals-Jones. I mean, he didn't do shit, but he did get 8 targets. So that's a miss on me. I should have at least mentioned him. But T-Mac had 11 targets, but he only caught 4 of them. I mean, Heineke off this game. Like I said, Gibson had 60 yards and a couple of touchdowns, but he really could kind of a blah game from Washington. And you just thought Heineke's a little bit Fitzpatrick, so it's like you're going to have some games where he kills it and you're going to have some shit games. And if you're Washington, where's that defense? That's supposed to be a really good, I mean, they got some dudes on that defense. Where's it at? Moving on. moving on. Get to a couple of lame games real quick. The Lions of Vikings. Not a lot to say here. Madison went over 100 yards rushing, added 40 yards receiving, and a touchdown. Other than that, Justin Jefferson went over 100, 7 catches for 124. So you had that going there. And then, of course, the Lions, who are the Lions. Nothing spectacular. St. Brown is the leading receiver. He had 8 targets, 7 catches for 65 yards. And of course, Deandre Swift with 6 catches for 53 yards to go with his 51 yards and a touchdown rushing. So Deandre Swift still getting plenty of work receiving, and on the ground, he's it's too bad the Lions aren't better. Excuse me. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that one. And then you had the Broncos and the Steelers. Broncos, a little bit of pretenders in thinking maybe, right? Played quite a weak schedule. And while, their defense is good and was playing good, it's beat up a little bit. And ain't exactly looked great the last couple of weeks. And the offense hasn't been able to do it. They did make a little bit of a comeback. Teddy and them did. And then Teddy threw a pick in the end zone to end the game. But it's what I take out of this game is it stinks with the Broncos because they're still using too much Melvin Gordon. If you ask me. He had 9 rushes. Javonte Williams had 8. Javonte Williams, 3 catches. Melvin Gordon, 2. Let's just go Javonte. Use Melvin as a breather, but they're still using Melvin, and he's just not great. His 2 catches for 9 yards, his 9 rushes for 34 yards. That's 3.8 average. Just get him out of here. And I'm a Melvin fan. I've talked about it a bunch. I loved Melvin. I was banking on him having a good year last year, but this year he's getting there, to the point where just the juice. There's no juice to squeeze. Or left in the squeeze. What is it? I don't know. Whatever that stupid saying, cliche. But it's good to see that Cortland Sutton is still kicking some ass. Pardon me. 7 for 120 and 1. So I do think Sutton is at a point where you can trust him. I'm not sure what else you can trust in the offense. We'll see when Jerry Jeudy comes back. But, the Broncos, it just feels like they're right where they were last year. A team that needs a quarterback. And nothing against Teddy. He played all right. 298 yards, 2 touchdowns. Interception, like the game-ending interception. But, yeah. He's just – and I love Teddy too. But he's just at this point, and maybe not at any point, just not special enough. Just not quite there. And then the Steelers, they played a little bit better. Najee Harris went over 100 yards, touchdown. And Claypool, 5 for 130 and a touchdown. Good to see. But it's the Steelers, so I don't, if they're really going to ride Big Ben the rest of the year, I can't count on them every fucking week. I just can't, because he's not good right now. But they're sure going to try and run that fucking ball. But good for Najee Harris, 122 and a touchdown. Good for him. And then we move on to the Bears and the Raiders, because while this game wasn't the greatest, nice to see Justin Fields get a win. He's the starter from here on out. But it'd be nice to see the offense open up. Justin Fields, 111 yards passing and only 4 yards rushing. So there's a lot of, Khalil Herbert, Damian Williams. Herbert had 18 carries, Williams 16. And so a lot of running the ball. Horsted, the tight end, is the one who caught the lone touchdown from Justin Fields. Get the fuck out of here with this. Come on, Nagy. Aren't you supposed to be this offensive mind who worked with Andy Reid, like what are we doing here? This is lame. I mean, y'all won. Good for you, but lame. And the Raiders falling back down to a lot where we thought, they would be. And of course, in the process, Hunter Renfrow is the leading receiver. 6 for 56. Lame. The Raiders are lame. Jace Jacobs is what I was trying to say. But what I really mean is Josh Jacobs. Jace Jacobs had 48 yards on 15 carries with a touchdown. So I guess he did a little something for you. But pretty ugly game all around. But nice to see Justin Fields get the win. It would be nicer to see them do something cool with it. Garbage ass teams. The Eagles and the Panthers. I've kind of been waiting for this Eagles offense to get going a little bit more. And we're still not quite there, but you did see some flashes. And they did take this game from the Panthers. Not a lot to speak of fantasy-wise. You got to look, there is that Hurts to Devonta Smith connection. So as much as I like a couple of guys like a Rager and a Watkins, I think it's pretty obvious that, at least for now, Hurts is only capable of really supporting just the one. And that's pretty clearly Devonta Smith, who's in that number one chair right now. But 7 for 77 for him. So I do think he's a guy. And Hurts has been, you're able to play him. He barely got a couple hundred yards passing, but he did get 2 touchdowns rushing. So, he's not doing bad for you fantasy-wise. But, receiving Devonta Smith, definitely the number one. Sam Darnold, bit of a rough game. Not quite 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard did have a decent game, went over 100 himself on 24 carries. DJ Moore, 5 for 42, was the leading receiver. But just a pretty ugly game from the Panthers, and yet they still almost won because they had a chance to win, and the Eagles came back and put a halt to that. So it's, that was a bad game for DJ Moore, but mainly because it was a bad game for Sam Darnold. So, good old Sam Darnold, or as someone on the broadcast called him yesterday, Sam Newton, because he has all those rushing touchdowns recently. Got to get Sam Newton in there. Oh, goodness. And last game I'll talk about is, 49ers at the Cardinals, the undefeated Cardinals. And Trey Lance's first start, and you saw some good, some bad. He went 15 for 29 for 192, did rush 16 times for 89 yards. That's kind of insane. Elijah Mitchell was the leading running back, 9 for 43. Deebo Samuel got a rushing touchdown and 3 receptions for 58 yards. Other than that, not a lot going through the air. It was nice to see Brandon Ayuk with 4 targets, 2 catches for 32. But it looks to be a lot of ground game right now with Lance. And then they said when they come back after the bye, Jimmy G will be the starter if healthy. We'll see. But, it's interesting to see. There's just 16 rushing attempts for your quarterback. It's more rushing attempts than completions. It's crazy. But, hey, it was a close game. They were not a whole lot of points scored. I guess I expected personally a little bit more for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray just, kind of an okay day, 239 yards, 1 touchdown. And then as far as the rush, like Chase Edmonds, 6 for 15. James Conner, 10 for 29. San Francisco's got a solid D. But this was just kind of, nothing going in the run game. But luckily, you're Kyler Murray, and you're the Cardinals, and you also have DeAndre Hopkins, who made some sick plays yesterday. And he went 6 for 87 and a touchdown, helped the Cardinals knock out their division foes and continue their unbeaten streak. They're at 5-0 now, the only undefeated team in the NFL. And, God, gotta say, if there was a secondary guy after Russ that you would have said, who would you like to see in that MVP race, that MVP conversation? It would have been this guy, Kyler Murray. So really good to see him making the most out of his opportunity and kicking some ass. And they got a good team. They got a opportunistic defense. It's one of those defenses that, it's not a world-breaking defense, but they're not crap either. And they're really good in certain areas, you know what I mean? So, it's a very capable defense for winning football team. So, and then you add in that offense. And yeah, the offense was a little blah, but you got to be, they got just guys that, and Kyler, the only problem fantasy-wise is that Kyler can spread it around. Again, Hopkins got his, but after that, you had Rondale Moore, who went 5 for 59. Christian Kirk, who went 5 for 39. And then Rondale Moore, where you got to be excited, they got him involved in the running game too, 3 carries for 38 yards. So they're doing lots of different things with Rondale Moore. You gotta be excited about his future. And, I just, overall, I don't know. I can't like these Cardinals. That it's a fun team to watch. And again, kind of a blah game this week with the 49ers, but Cardinals, man, they sitting at the top. What a fucking week. Yeah. And then tonight we have, I'm saying tonight because most of you are listening to this on a Monday, we have the Colts at the Ravens. And I imagine the Ravens are just going to kick some ass in this game. It'd be nice to see. I need about 800 points from Jonathan Taylor in a couple different leagues. So if that could happen, that'd be great. But I don't see that happening. The Ravens, that kind of like I mentioned with the Cardinals, I wouldn't put the Ravens up there with one of the top few defenses, but they do some things really well. And man, it fucking helps when you got Lamar Jackson on the other side. And I don't think there's going to be a thing the Colts can do to really compete in this game. Maybe they can hang around for a minute, but that's looking like a rough one. So, but I do believe, got Jonathan Taylor, you got to play him regardless. And he's the fucking man. But there's a very good chance Baltimore. And of course, if you've got him in your lineup, it's too late now. It's Monday. So what am I talking about? You know who you're already playing in this game because Sundays are. But I am looking forward to the game just because you know me. Madcaps. I love watching Lamar Jackson. That's all there is to it. I just love Lamar Jackson. So I will be tuning in tonight, and I will be watching Colts at Ravens. And I will be back after the game to talk about it and to preview Thursday night's football game as well. And hopefully my partner, the salary captain, will be feeling well enough to join me. And we move on to Monday night and then into week 6. And hopefully a better week for both my co-host and I. We don't need another shit week like we had last week. That just makes everything more difficult. So let's get the hell out of here for now, right? Right? We is good. What a good Sunday of action. Oh, some craziness, a bunch of missed kicks, yeah, good stuff. Some teams got stampeded. It's fun. All right, man. Thanks once again for joining. Don't forget to follow the pod on Twitter at @EW_pod. We'll chat with you again tonight after the game.
Real mad here.
Until then,
in the Dynasty Wonderland.
Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay mad. Top for now, Madcaps.